2 days after the attacks, we were presented with an explanation of what happened. There was no investigation for over a year until a lot of people, mostly 9/11 family members, forced the administration. Instead, we got a blue ribbon panel headed by Philip Zelikow, who worked for the White House. And there are a lot of unanswered questions. And 70 million people in America, 2/3 of the people in New York City don't believe the Commission's report. So my question to you is, are you satisfied with the 9/11 Commission's report? And if not, what can we do about it?
I think that there are many unanswered questions. And I've heard from people all around the country about a desire for truth, to really make a strong effort to get at the truth. In my capacity as chairman of the Domestic Policy Subcommittee, I want to let you know, and others who have information that they feel is scientifically based and ought to be looked at, that I'm open to receiving that information, to reviewing it, and if necessary, to move forward to call some hearings to review it. I think that we always have to be ready to look anew at information that comes to us, and not to just close the book and say, well, that's settled, we figured that out, now we move on. And so the answer is yes, I am willing to do that. Yes, I'm open to anyone who wants to present me with information. I reserve the right to be able to make my own decisions on that. I keep an open mind. I have some of my own questions that, as far as I'm concerned, have been answered. But I think that in the way in which we approach it, it has to be done methodically and scientifically. And even though it's powerful emotions that pull us into it, we have to really proceed almost dispassionately. But we should proceed to look at some of the questions, and I'm open to it. So thank you. I also want to say there's another dimension about 9/11 that America has suffered from and hasn't recovered from. And that is the trauma of 9/11. All of us remember where we were on that day. I was in Washington, walking behind the Capitol, showing a local judge the beauty of our Capitol. I was called back to the office, said, come back here right away. My daughter was on the phone. She, at that time, was going to school in Washington. She said, Dad, what's going on? A plane went into the World Trade Center. And a few minutes later, she called back when the other plane hit. She said, Dad, I'm scared. We rushed out of the Longworth building, went onto C Street. There was a sound of an explosion. We were on C Street, thousands of people in the street turned around simultaneously to look towards the explosion. And in a split second, they turned back and ran, literally ran down the street. Every one of us has a story of who we were and what we experienced and how riveting that was. The next day, there was a meeting at the National Security Council where Secretary Rumsfeld offered that we should use 9/11 as a time to go after to strike at Iraq. No information had been presented. I mean, this is in the book Bush at War by Bob Woodward, page 49. And so we were misled. We were led down a cul-de-sac. And as a matter of fact, so many of our fellow citizens are stuck because of it. We attacked a nation that did not attack us. We've been responsible for the deaths of over 650,000 innocent civilians. We've destroyed the country of Iraq. We've lost the lives of about 3,100 of our brave men and women and damaged the lives of tens of thousands more who've been injured physically and psychologically by the trauma of war. So we're stuck on 9/11. How do we get out of it? Now, I want to make an introduction here because my wife came up with this idea that we're going to come to New Hampshire and open the door on this idea because it's time to have a new discussion in America to rediscover who we were before 9/11. We all accept that there's a mythology of America, that there were things that happened in our country's history that we're not proud of, but there's still something quintessentially good about who we are, and we need to reconnect with that.